Staying consistent with our bullet journals can be challenging, but I have some tips to help you out. Our first tip is to schedule your journaling time. Specifically block off time on your calendar for your journaling practice. When you set this time aside, you're making a commitment to yourself to actually use it for journaling. Just make sure that in doing this, you're actually holding yourself accountable to that scheduled time. This reinforces to yourself that when you make a commitment, you stick with it. Our next tip is to specify when and where. So when are you going to be doing your bullet journaling, and where are you going to do it? Setting an implementation intention can help take any of the vagueness out of your journaling practice. This is done as a statement of I will behavior at time in location. So for example, I will populate my journal at 5 p.m. at my desk. Set yourself a reminder. Notifications aren't just for social media apps, you can use the power of them to help you do your journaling as well. Setting a notification using the alarm feature on your phone can help you remind yourself to check in with your journal. You might want to do this at just one point during the day, or you might want to have regular check-ins throughout the day. Make use of habit stacking. This involves bundling your journal with a habit that you've already been doing by doing your journal right after that one. Over time, the two habits will become linked so that you're regularly doing one with the other. For example, if you already have lunch at a specific time of day, you could stack this with your journaling. So do your journaling immediately after having your lunch. Keep your journal close. If your journal is always with you, you'll be more easily able to use it. Consider how you can transport your journal with you so that it's available when inspiration strikes. Keep your journal open. Even having our notebooks closed at our workspace is a barrier to journaling. Keeping it open will make it easier to jot things down, meaning you'll do it more frequently. Also, a word of advice, we're talking about a lot of different tips in this video, and I don't encourage you to try and implement them all at once. Pick a couple, try them out, and find what works for you. Our next tip though is temptation bundling. So combining your journaling practice with another enjoyable thing to make it more attractive. This could be something like having a nice drink when you journal, pairing it with an enjoyable snack. Maybe if you like to journal while watching something, you might have a particular TV show that you're watching just while you're journaling. Effectively bundling journaling with any other enjoyable thing that you can do at the same time. Another example of this is a playlist pairing. So making yourself a playlist to use while you're journaling. You could even make multiple depending on the type of journaling you are doing. So it could be upbeat tunes to get you pumped for the day, or softer songs for reflection periods. Our next tip is using a motivation ritual. So this is doing something small and enjoyable before you're journaling to motivate yourself to get started. Maybe you could find a particular song that pumps you up and gets you in the mood to do your journaling, or it could be some other small enjoyable habit that you can do beforehand. Give yourself a reward. Pairing journaling with something rewarding immediately after having done it can give us a bit of instant gratification. Plus, if you save that type of reward for just your journaling practice, then you only get to enjoy it with your journaling. Join a journaling community. Most things are easier with friends, so joining a community who also journals can help keep you motivated to stay consistent with your journal. We of course have our communities over on Facebook and Discord, and we would love to have you with us if you're not already. Make your setups fun. Things are also easier when they are enjoyable, and making setting up your layouts fun can make you more inclined to actually do them. This could be done by including layouts that are new and exciting to you, or ones that you just enjoy setting up in general. This could be by using decoration styles that feel like fun, or maybe just the structure of the layout themselves. Make your setups easy. When we feel things are going to be difficult, oftentimes we procrastinate on doing them. So making your journal setups easy to do can be very helpful to actually getting yourself to do them. Setups can be made easier by picking decoration styles and layouts that are approachable for your current skill set, or even just by limiting the number of layouts that you're setting up when you're doing your journaling. Another way to make journaling easier is by using easy supplies. Some supplies require a certain level of skill to use, and some take a bit longer to use. Looking at you, paint pens, and this can discourage us from doing our journaling. Pick supplies that are easy to use in your setups to avoid those kind of barriers. Use supplies you enjoy. As we've said, you're more likely to do things if you find them enjoyable, and we can build enjoyment into our journaling by using supplies we like. This can include our notebook and our pen, but it can also include other supplies we use. And these might not necessarily be specifically related to the journaling practice. It could be having a specific chair that you sit in when you do your journaling that's more enjoyable to sit in than sitting at your desk. This This could be having a particular candle that you like to light when you do your journaling. Personally, I don't use candles with my journal because fire and paper don't mix well. But effectively, this tip is about considering which supplies you want to use during your journaling time that can add enjoyment to your routine. Our next tip is to make population easy. When setting up your layouts, consider how you're actually going to fill them in throughout the month. By making journal population easier, you limit your barrier to actually getting into your journal. One of the ways that you can do this is by limiting your supplies. For example, when it comes to populating my layouts on a monthly basis, I like to only really have to use my regular black writing pen and possibly one other supply where possible. Not only does this mean that you have less supplies to tote around if you want to use your journal on the go, but it also means that you have less friction associated with choosing which supplies to use. Keep your supplies handy. Keeping all your supplies together throughout the month means that you don't have to go and get them out of multiple places anytime you want to do your journaling. I like to pull all of my supplies out for the month and keep them together in a pencil case, and then once the month is over, I can put them back to where I usually store them. Design your workspace. Setting up your workspace so that you can easily get started with your journaling can be a great way to help yourself stay consistent. This can include things like making sure that you have a nice open area to do your journaling, so having available desk space. This can also be having your supplies readily available. While this tip isn't necessarily for everyone, it can certainly help make your journaling more enjoyable and easier to do. Keep your workspace tidy. Doing your journaling is much less inviting if your workspace is a mess. So keeping your desk tidy at the end of each day can help reduce the friction to getting started with your journaling the next day. And it just makes the whole process a lot nicer. Design your layouts with intentionality. When designing layouts, be mindful of how much space you actually want to give to each day. If you're anything like me, having a full layout come the end of working on a spread is very satisfying, and having leftover space that's blank can kind of feel like a bit of a failure. If this is an issue for you too, consider how much space you actually want to leave in your layouts for your journaling each day. Making this space more closely aligned to how much you actually need is going to mean that you have less wasted or blank space come the end of working on a spread. What I actually like to do is use daily logs instead of weekly logs because then I can fully fill a page. Our next tip is to design a 2-minute journaling routine. When you're trying to build the habit of journaling, don't make yourself do it for too long. Work on developing a 2-minute version of your journaling so that on the days that you're not really feeling it, you can at least do some. A little bit of journaling is better than no journaling at all. Set a visible timer. While often the clock is not our friend, it can help to have a visible clock or timer while doing your journaling. This helps you stay focused on the task at hand by adding some time pressure to it. Our next tip though is to keep track of your journaling practice. This could be a habit tracker in your journal, or it could just be one that's near your workplace, but somewhere super visible. Keeping this tracker easily visible and noticeable will help motivate yourself to do your journaling because you won't want to break the streak. While those are only some of the ways that you can help build consistency into your bullet journaling routines, I would love to hear about what other suggestions you have in the comments below. One of the best ways to build consistency with your bullet journaling though, is to have a solid reason for doing it. What is your purpose or your why for keeping a bullet journal? While there are plenty of reasons, I recommend having one in particular that resonates with you. And if you're still trying to figure out what your reason is, I do have a separate video with some of the benefits of bullet journaling that could help you out. Click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.